Hi everyone, my name is Cassie, and today I wanted to share one of my favorite ways to feel close to God and to really rejoice in God's creation, and that is through the plants in my garden. So, God makes many wonderful things, and one of those things is plants. And God makes all kinds of plants. For example, this basil plant smells good and it can be used to make delicious food to share with your friends or with your family. Some plants, like this guy, have big crazy spikes on him, and they remind us of places that are far away from Harvard-Epworth, like Texas or Arizona or someplace like that. Some plants have big long tails that go on and on and on and on and on and on and on all the way. Some, like this aloe plant, can make us actually feel better and have healing properties for if we get a sunburn. And then other plants grow really, really big and tall, like this one. That's taller even than me. So there's so many plants that are so beautiful and have really great purposes for us, like for medicine or for food, but some of them are not pretty and don't have a good use, much like this guy. So I've had this plant for maybe 5 years now, and when I got him, he was just this like little stumpy part right here. And I didn't pay very much money for him. He was kind of cheap, but he had a big, beautiful flower on the top, which I learned that Walmart had glued the flower on. And so he died, and he got this like weird brown part up here, and he kind of stopped growing. And then after I had him for like, he was just this stumpy dude for like 2 or 3 years. And then these like funky guys came out, these little arms that he has now that have these like little twig things on them, or like these guys, and they're kind of weird shapes. And so this guy, unlike the other plants that I showed you, isn't very pretty, and he doesn't really have a purpose. And for a long time I really thought about chucking this guy into the woods, because I was thinking, he's just ugly, and I could use this pot for another plant. I could use the soil for another plant that might be prettier, or I don't know, that I just liked a little more. But like I said, he started to grow these little like branch guys after a couple years, and I was kind of surprised that they grew. I thought he was done growing. And over time, I don't know, I started to like him. I like how he's kind of like light green down here, but dark green up here. I like that some of his little branch pieces are kind of thick and some are kind of skinny. He has a ton of spikes, and he has all these like little fringy guys on here. And so while I don't think this plant is probably ever going to be very pretty, and he's never going to be very big, I find myself just curious to see what other parts he might grow or what else he might do. So every time I think about throwing him out, I find I can't do it, because I think, what if he grows some new part and then I would have missed out on it. And this plant and having him for such a long time has taught me a lesson about God. Because sometimes we will do everything right. We'll do what we're supposed to do. I watered this plant and I gave him enough sunlight, but there's going to be times where, you might study for a test really hard and get a good night's sleep, and you still don't get, a very good grade on that test that you would have liked. Sometimes, we put in the effort that we're supposed to, and things don't pan out the way we might want. I think that having faith and praying to God, it doesn't mean that we know what's going to happen, and it doesn't mean that the things that we ask God for we always get. Sometimes we won't. I think faith sometimes is just being curious to see what's going to happen, being patient to see if it might take longer than we would have wanted, keeping our eyes peeled to see whether, like these weird dudes growing out of here, it might look like something we aren't really expecting. And it's also important to just keep our hearts open so that if what God sends us in our lives looks different from what we would have hoped for or what we prayed for or wanted, that we can still see the beauty in that too. I hope to see you all soon. I hope you're doing well and staying cool. So, bye.